first speaker is the Director of Community Management at MRM Worldwide Manila, the award-winning digital arm of McCann World Group Philippines. His social media marketing website, jsncruz.com, was listed by Social Media Examiner in the top 24 social media blogs of 2013. He is designated as a Digital Center of Excellence by McCann World Group, APAC. His social media and community management strategies are applied in the industry through some of the country's biggest names: Coca-Cola, Nestle, San Miguel Beers, and Unilever, to name a few. As a subject matter specialist, he has also appeared in dozens of academic lectures around the country's top universities and numerous television features. Jason graduated from De La Salle University with an AB International Studies degree. He has also a GCE A-level science from Cambridge University. So another one who is a favorite children of God. Yeah. So let's all give a warm welcome to Mr. Jason Cruz.
So this is the clicker, right? I'll just check if it works. It works. Alright, hi guys. So I noticed that a lot of you are not very participative tonight. Is it because you're hungry? Say yes. Okay, I don't like silence. I'm an introvert, but the only silent thing I like are my plants. I don't want them talking to me. So if I do ask a question, I hope you guys will answer. I always tell my team, it's better to be completely wrong than halfway right. Do you agree?
Yes.
Sabi niyan. Alright, so today I am going to be talking about careers on social media. And later on, I will cap off this 86-slide presentation with, oh, you're reacting, with a story of how I ended up in this really exciting career. And you know, it's pretty nice to be introduced as a superstar, but I have a long way to go yet. I'll be talking about a few things. The first is the social landscape in the Philippines. For those of you taking pictures of my slideshows, despair. Because I have learned not to put a lot of notes up there so that you listen and you pay attention. I do teach at the CDM program, and that's the only time you will actually get to have slideshows that are worth taking pictures of. So I'll be talking about the landscape of social in the Philippines. I'll be talking about how it applies to businesses and the kind of people that are really in demand right now. Believe me, today we were interviewing 4 applicants, and one of them will probably make it as far as social media knowledge goes, and the other 3 would definitely need to study a lot more. What does that tell us? It shows us that the interest is there. Nod your head. The interest is there, but maybe being equipped is not yet. So I guess my job here tonight is to let all of you know that you can be equipped. You should be equipped to face not a digital future, but a digital present. Okay, that is an overarching theme about a lot of my talks. I talk a lot about the digital present. I don't think digital is the future. It's happening right now, and we can see it. And I'll be talking about the way forward in terms of having access to this education. So, some hard facts. I like numbers. I'm a science graduate. I get judged a lot when people ask me, what did you major in college before? Oh, physics. A lot of you judged me. It sounds like such a nerdy field, but I really wanted to be an engineer. And now I'm on Facebook 6 days a week. And that's my work for some reason. But it's actually a good foundation. How many here are science graduates? I see hands. I see a lot of hands. How many here? There you go. How many here have actually felt that they have an affinity for numbers and math? I see more hands. So you see, but a little bit more shy this time, No, you know what? Social media marketing needs a lot of people like that, and I'll show you later why. So I will be saying a lot of numbers. I'll be saying a little bit of statistics, because statistics are so tweet-worthy, right? Yes? Yes? There you go. And then, and then a lot of anecdotes about how I ended up in social media marketing and how brands use it, and how maybe you all of you can use it in your careers. So I'm guessing everybody here is an employed citizen of the Philippines. Yes? No. Students. How many are students? Awesome. So this is even better for you. And for those who are already in the working world, this is a presentation to let you know that digital is something that you can expand into rather than have to learn from scratch. Because us as Filipinos in general, we are so social savvy. How many here have a Facebook account? If you don't raise your hand, they're lying. There you go. How many have 2 Facebook accounts? I see hands. And if you have 3 accounts, don't raise your hand. We know what the other one's used for. And it's proven by the numbers. You know, we have 1/3 of the country on Facebook. And that's a telling fact because about 1/3 of the Philippines have regular internet access. To make the long story short, people, the moment they have online access, the first site they sign up for is likely Facebook. Yeah. And you see, we know this. Brands know this as well. Everyone that we know seems to be on Facebook. Let's not ask where the other 2/3 are. That's another talk entirely. But we are the 8th largest Facebook population in the world. It's a nice thing to be on the top 10 list, right? So we're the 8th. In terms of Facebook population, we have 34 million, I think, on Facebook. Out of a population of what? 96? Yeah. The ones in the census. About that, like that, right? 103. Wow, that's a lot. So there, about 1/3. Another fact is that we are a culture of sharers, oversharers. How many had lunch today? Please raise your hand. You notice I'm very interactive. I'm helping you burn calories. Alright, so you had lunch today. Did you take a photo of it?
No.
Well, I didn't take photo of my lunch today, so don't judge. But have you ever taken a picture of your food? Yes, because we're Filipinos. And about 90% of Filipinos on Instagram take pictures of their food and share it. Another tweet-worthy stat. And that tells us another thing, right? We post the things we do on social. Social isn't just a part of our lives now. It is actually a digital version of what we do. I noticed a lot checked in on Foursquare at iAcademy. I got 8 points out of it. How many points did you guys get? It was my first time. I checked in with a friend. And then there was something else, and so I had 8 points. So I tend to overshare as well because I got so used to it. And if that happens to me, that must be happening to a lot of you guys as well, right? So the culture of sharing is deeply ingrained in a lot of us. Whether you like it or not, we are a very social population. And businesses and organizations know this. Brands know this. And we as individuals, we know this. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. Anton's heard this. I was, are anyone here in marketing? Right, so lots of hands, marketing. And after lunch, it just gets really sleepy, right, at the office? Yes?
Yes.
Are you not answering because your bosses are with you? It gets really sleepy. And I tweeted one fine day. I tweeted about how I felt sleepy. Of course, I didn't rant about work. I'm very careful about that. And I love my work. I genuinely do. And I tweeted about being sleepy. And a few minutes later, I got a reply from none other than ta-da, Krispy Kreme. So, 2 things went into my mind, right? Creepy, right? I didn't tag them. I don't like donuts. I don't. I try not to eat that thing. I'm using a very polite word, that thing, because we were talking about it at, I'll say backstage. Nax backstage. Artista vibe. So we were talking about it at the back, about, donuts and how it makes you feel greasy. So I don't eat donuts. But then that day, Krispy Kreme tweets me, "Hey Jason, can you DM us your email so that we can send you something?" And back in that time on Twitter, that was just last year, you have to follow them to get the DM, right? So, galing mag-fish ang followers ng Krispy Kreme. Are you guys managing Krispy Kreme? I got terrified for a second. So, And I gave my contact details and they sent me a voucher for a free cup of coffee and a donut. Think about that for a second. When was the last time a brand did that to you? Really, I'm encouraging you to think for a second. When was the last time a billboard at EDSA spoke to you? And if it did, that's scary, right? Who read the magazine today? There. Did you see an ad in the magazine, man? Did it talk to you? It did.
Not in the literal.
This is like a seminar of the voice of God, no? Just kidding. No, but you see, right? I was using this as a practice at the office. I was telling our interns, look at that print ad in the magazine. It was jeans, and I said, tell that ad, as in speak to it, you suck. And of course, the intern, sinabi niya talaga dun sa ad, you suck. And I said, did it respond to you? No. That's because brands, in the traditional sense, cannot hear what we feel as consumers. They cannot listen to what we feel as consumers. And most importantly, they cannot respond to consumers. Because that intern will never take the effort to call a hotline and tell them, your jeans suck. Right? But social changes the game for so many brands. This is a time and age when if you are very unhappy with an airliner and you tweet nasty things about that airline, you get a lot of retweets, you get a lot of shares. You know, you ever heard of the screenshot warriors? I love those guys. They screenshot embarrassing tweets from brands and then they post it and they make your day happier. Especially if you're a social media manager, oh, I'll never do that. But then, of course, we make mistakes. And I am talking now about Krispy Kreme and giving them this media mileage for no apparent reason because they did three things that separates brands who know how to do social media marketing from those that don't. First is they listen. And that's very important. If you have an organization or church group, a barkada with a Facebook page, and you continuously pump out content, right? I mean, I'm sure some of you here have Facebook pages. And you post a lot of content. That's maybe 5% of the social battle. If you're not listening to the responses, what's the point? You're just a digital billboard that doesn't speak to people. You are another print ad that can't listen. And this brings to the second point that Krispy Kreme did right. They communicated. Even though it was in a very uninvited way, but that is the changing game of the changing landscape of social. When brands can listen, they can engage. And when brands engage, they create advocates. Or if they don't even create advocates, because I'm not exactly saying I ate their donuts, right? But they talk about it, and not in a negative way. I'm sure we've all heard about that ad campaign of Olivia Wilde-Marion.
Yeah.
Now you reacted because you didn't like it. Not to take anything away from it, I had a lot of comments on my commentary about it. There were people saying, you know what? We're talking about it. Their advertising worked. No, it didn't. Because there's a fine line between talking about the good stuff you do versus the other side, which is talking about all the nasty stuff they hate. Right? I want to be talked about, but I don't want people making fun of my very tall height. Very thoughtful, very respectful. It's okay. You see, we like to be talked about as people and as brands, but we want to be talked about in a positive way, right? And that's the job of social media marketers. There's one fact that I want everyone here to really accept. Whether you like it or not, people will talk. Right? It can be about you. It can be about your business. It can be about your school. It can be about your organization. It can be about your brand. People will talk. Why not use those conversations to know how to do better? And that is what is so highly sought after now. People who can do that. And I will introduce you to three of the most in-demand social jobs in the Philippines. Digital a little bit, and then it started off the whole cascade for my career. But a lot of the things we learned in our department are real case studies. Because we're lucky that we have a lot of brands to study. Of course, it's not funny when it doesn't go well. But there, We have that luxury. But what if you're not handling 36 brands? What if you're not handling a single brand, but you want to see this as your future? Then you can actually learn it. And again, I'm repeating that these are very in demand, but the talented people, we can't find them. They're just not available. The first is the analyst. The analysts, I like to call them the scientists of the digital age. These are our numbers people. These are the guys who like to look at data, and they look at social data. They can, and you know their jobs is to make sense of why 50 likes is better than 5,000 likes. You know, there are cases where you don't want a post to be liked on Facebook. There are cases where you don't want a screenshot of a bad tweet to go around.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for coming to my birthday.
EDC TV.
Oh, hi EDC TV. Hi. I felt awkward. So I thought I'd make a corny joke. Alright, where was I? Analysts. Social media analysts are, how hard are they to find? Let's put it this way, over the past year and a half of looking, we've hired one. We've hired one. We need maybe 4. That's because it's so hard to find somebody who can marry the sciencey number crunching attributes of a lot of analysts to the kind of volume and speed of data we're looking at in social. In social, we don't look at yearly reports for trends. We look at daily trends. Do you look at Twitter trends on the left side of your desktop? It changes every few hours, right?
Yeah.
Their job is to find out why. And their job is to how to replicate it. And that's a tough job. And it is probably one of the most difficult to learn, I'll be honest, just because of the sheer scope of work it does. But I'm telling you, if we're having a hard time looking for proper social analysts, just think of all the other brands, all the other agencies. There's a lot of demand for this. The second is the DPR manager. The DPR manager is a play on digital and public relations, and these are your relationship builders. Why is it a separate job, you might ask? Oh, the marketing department can do that. The PR department can do that. I'll tell you, no, they can't. Gone are the days when you can have 1 week to cancel an article or a flaming article on a newspaper. Gone are those days. Now we're working with minutes in terms of how, for example, a relationship between a brand and a blogger, right? How many have been aware of that recent incident when a blogger was very displeased with a digital PR manager who did make mistakes, admittedly, and that's because a lot of digital PR is being done ad hoc. They're not learning the dynamics of how fast, for example, social spreads news. If you're not aware of the scale that it can go to, you're going to burn your brand. And it happened not too long ago. And so these guys are the ones with background in PR. But they're also equipping themselves to work at the pace of digital. So it's a very interesting career. We recently hired one. She's an entire department of one. So we're looking to expand that as well. Again, a lot of brands are more and more tapping into influencers. Twitter influencers, blog influencers, celebrity influencers to spread their messages. Companies, schools do it as well. And so they need people who can do it in a right and effective way. And the final one, which is close to my heart because I started my digital career as one, is the community manager. Have you ever heard of a community manager? Let me guess. A lot of the stereotype for community managers is that these are the guys who get paid to post content on Facebook and then go home. But you come to think of it, a community manager is, and I'm not saying this in a self-serving way, they're the most powerful people for a brand or business. Ask me why.
Why?
Because they are the only people in a company that can actually speak to actual consumers. And they are the ones who publish content that are seen by actual consumers. And to a great extent, community managers create that content. So we look for 3 things in community managers. That creative side, because you need to be able to keep up engagement. You need to be always making content that's attractive to your consumers. And we're also looking for people who are very good at strategic thinking. Because why would you propose a Facebook page for a brand that doesn't need it? Oh, believe me, some brands could do much better on Twitter. Some of them could probably do better on YouTube. See, not all are created the same. So it's the job of the community managers to tell businesses which communities to be involved in. And of course, there is also that diplomatic side, because you are, for all intents and purposes, the customer relations representative of the entire brand. How many here have posted on the Facebook page of a telco a complaint? Or tweeted? More hands when you tweet them. The people answering those are living, breathing community managers, so please go easy on them. I felt it. My very first account was a soda brand. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people hate on soft drinks. I don't know why. Probably I know why, but it's a reality. So there is you ever hear of those stories when the community manager just goes table flip and answers back the consumer? And the screenshot warriors will have a field day, and then your PR and Corpcom department will probably fire you because you caused such a bleep storm. It's hard not to swear. Sorry, I cuss a lot there. So, community managers represent the brand. And this is probably the hardest person to find. You might think, but they're the most numerous. Yeah. The most numerous are the people who know how to create a Facebook post and publish it and call themselves, I'm a social media manager, and then charge exorbitant prices as consultants. But this is actually a course that you can learn. And there are things to learn to do it properly. Why is it that a freelance page will never be as consumer friendly as, say, Maggie, which can reply to any query within 15 minutes? Or how come you have community managers who do it for fun, but cannot meet the 60-second response rate of Coca-Cola? Why? Because there are things to learn, and there are things to master to make sure that the social media marketing of a specific brand is at the very peak. Now, medyo doom and gloom, but no, there is actually a way for us to be equipped, and that is through education and learning. I found it interesting that when I was a college student, digital courses were, they were very hipster. Like if you were taking it, you must be really, really cool and you must be some IT guy. But now, it's funny, for me at least, that you can be equipped with a varied range of subjects. For example, marketing, online. And look at how the education systems have adjusted as well to face this digital present. You have iAcademy offering its digital courses. You have CDM programs offering social media marketing courses. The IIDM. LaSalle and Ateneo both have digital marketing courses. So if the education system, which is traditionally the slow one to adjust, I should know, I came from an academic family, my mom's a professor. They're very resistant to change, and yet they have adapted. What more for us, students of any subject under the sun, right? So to be equipped means to learn or relearn a lot of things. And the great news is that it's now available to a lot of us. For example, in a social media marketing course that I know CDM offers, what should you expect to learn? You'll be learning how to identify specific social sites. Again, not every social site is created equal, right? And you learn how to market on different platforms. You learn about how to leverage on blogs. And you learn how to monitor and listen to social conversations. For the community management short courses, you will be equipped to create brand voices so that your brand and your business doesn't start sounding like every Tom, Dick, and Harry's Facebook page. You learn how to create specific content buckets to talk about specific things for your specific communities. You learn how to create crisis management escalation plans. It's actually pretty exciting. My team always tells me, can we experience a crisis? It would be nice to make the plan for it. I tell them, no, because I'll be fired. Right? It's not them. Eh? So, and then you also learn from case studies from brands that will be presented on these courses. So, back to why and how can social media marketing be a career for a lot of us? Sorry, I'll go back to this slide. How I started. I worked in a school. That was my first job. This is my second job. I worked in a school. And if you think I was a teacher, no. I was a writer and I managed the environment department. It's like I will win the award for the most boring job description in the world. I'm not kidding, I managed the environment department of LaSalle. A lot of black faces now. Honestly, I'm not thinking, why did they do that again? But the most exciting thing that happened was, of course, a solar car. So it wasn't a total bore job. But the jump to digital was because I have always loved blogging. And I tweet a lot. I go on Facebook quite a lot. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. How many have watched a YouTube video today? That's interesting. Did you know that we're one of the highest consumers of YouTube videos in the world? Filipinos on average consume 1 million hours a day. So, and I am guessing that if this describes me, it probably describes a lot of you. So the jump to digital isn't that big. Because we already know how to use a lot of the platforms. We already know how to use a lot of the concepts. And a lot of you probably are marketing graduates, unlike me. So you have a lot of good foundation under your belt. And I ended up in this job that I would probably never trade for anything else because it doesn't feel like work. You know, a lot of freelance community managers who are very successful and very good at what they do. And you know, we talk sometimes on threads, and we all have the same conclusion. It doesn't feel like work because we've been doing it for a long time, right? So a lot of you have been on Facebook for years. A lot of you have been on Twitter for years. A lot of you have been watching YouTube videos for years. And I'm sure a lot of you can tell what a good social campaign looks like from a face value perspective. Why not? Why not? Why not? Apply that on a more professional level. Why not join the very small but highly passionate ranks of digital marketers in the Philippines? Why not, you know, join the present rather than stay in the past? And that's always my challenge to people who graduated with traditional based degrees, or you know, the fresh grads and the applicants who tell me, but that's not my course. It doesn't matter because all the learning materials and all the learning resources are available right now. Again, we are in the digital present, right? We're not looking forward to a digital future. So either we equip ourselves and face this exciting new world of marketing together, or stay and, I don't know, do other stuff. But there, I'm 25, and a lot of people in this industry are younger than I am. The youngest person in my team is 19. The oldest person is my boss, he's 30. So if you are in that age range or even older, what does that tell us? None of us, by the way, are digital graduates. I guess to close, my point is that the jobs are available, they are in desperate need of people, and there are a lot of ways for a lot of us to be equipped. Thank you for being participative and laughing at my corny jokes.